Good morning everyone. How you all doing on this fine Thursday morning? The sun is shining. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. So as you are jumping on, say hello and leave a comment if you so wish. Say hi as you're jumping on. Just see people jumping on now. So over these past 7 weeks, what? So I've shared many tips and techniques, as have lots of the other lovely people on here. And so some of them have included the practical things like obviously watching less news, you know, being mindful of what you're letting in and how much negative news you're exposing yourself to. Hello. So we've looked at self-care, dealing with boredom, morning routines. I wonder if any of you have developed a morning routine or practice. We've looked at resilience. Hi Jackie. Gratitude. So lots of different things, obviously mindfulness and breathing techniques and all these wonderful things that that are going to help us certainly at any time in life, truly, but especially now. And so I wanted to just really check in with you guys and ask what, if any of this, has actually has helped. Has there been anything that you have particularly found useful? And, you know, what's been helping you get through? You know, have you maybe discovered something about yourself that you maybe didn't know before? You know, maybe you've sort of discovered that actually you're quite resilient and, you know, and you have these strengths. You know, maybe you've learned something new. There's been lots of creative pursuits going on here and in some of the groups. Maybe you've learned to make something or use some of that time creatively, where you've maybe had more time than usual. It is a lovely sunny day, isn't it? It's really lovely. So just really to kind of, you know, have that sort of time to reflect of some of the things that maybe that have helped. And also, you know, I'm curious to know for some of you, some of these new techniques or tips, if they're of what you'll be taking with you. So post-COVID, you know, what are some of these things that you're going to continue? You know, and hopefully there'll be useful things that are going to help. Yeah, Georgina. So 7 weeks, it is a long time. It is a long time. It's hard to kind of imagine that it's been 7 weeks, and boredom is a big factor. I don't know if you heard last Thursday, I talked about boredom. It might be worth checking out the video if not. And because I think a lot of us are struggling with that, certainly, and how that can, you know, we don't know what to do with them feelings. And like I talked about last week, how it can be quite difficult actually to sit with yourself. And I shared that lovely, just see if I can find it, that lovely quote. Yeah, that's it. It was by Blaise Pascal. He's a French mathematician and physicist that lived in the 1600s. And he said, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone and I just found that fascinating. It's one that kind of stayed with me, and I shared about that last week. And just for us to be able to, and this is what the mindfulness is about, you know, it's about getting into the present moment and sitting with ourselves long enough to find out what's on the other side of that. You know, I think that is something that certainly that I pursue, and that's been really helpful, certainly in my life. So yeah, what's on the other side of that boredom? Because it's in the boredom as well where creativity lives. So so that's interesting. Uptighty skills, yeah, you and me both. Yeah, gardening, I mean, wonderful. For those that got gardens, that is fabulous. All the help from family and friends. Community is so important. And Trust Links Live, yay. Thanks, Jackie. Oh, you did see this. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. So many of these things, I think that hopefully, you know, we can take with us. You know, some of these sort of things that we maybe would have never learnt about ourselves, or never understood, never sort of known what really matters, you know, and what we are truly grateful for, and the things that that we do appreciate. And it takes, you know, sadly, really, it takes something like this for sometimes for us to really understand the depth of that, and the appreciation there. So one of the things I have noticed, I think a lot of people that have been struggling with, is where old, maybe not so helpful habits creep back in. So, and this can be, and you know, and there is a reason for this. And, you know, we've got to be mindful again in this time to be kind to ourselves, not to beat ourselves up, because a lot of us are very good at doing that. You know, all that self-talk that likes to, like I've talked about before, the shoulds and you know, that the comparison thing that sets in when you see all these people, you know, doing all these wonderful things, and you haven't, and it's, you know, Viktor Frankl, yes, I talked about Viktor Frankl last week. Changing ourselves, not our situation. So many of these good things. Yeah, absolutely. So old habits, they kick in. Now, what it is that when we're obviously in this sort of stressful and challenging and unusual situation, and it can trigger that stress response in us. So the emotional part of our emotional brain, the whole limbic system of our brain, remembers when we were last in difficult situations, and what did we do then? What helped, or what helped for a little while, or what did we perceive to be helpful? And you know, we can easily get into that. You know, we have that trigger response where we then feel anxious, and feel uncomfortable feeling anxious. So would reach for that sort of temporary relief and the distraction. So just to kind of highlight that, just to be mindful of that. And you know, and there is a reason that that this can happen, and just to actually be kind to yourself, you know, at this time. I think that is really important. Yeah, we're not good, are we, at sitting with uncomfortable feelings, and distractions numb, you know. We remember that go-to behaviour that we may have had in the past, and that temporarily helps us to cope. So, you know, in recovery, we learn that our feelings aren't going to kill us. You know, they come and go, as our thoughts come and go. You know, and again, this is what mindfulness is about. It's about noticing. So we get the distance between that reactive state where we're in the drama, where we're in our thoughts, really, you know, in the what ifs and the worst case scenarios. And, you know, and in mindfulness and in that practice in the presence of being in the now, we get the distance between that, and we can recognize what's going on. Because if not, the feeling of our thinking becomes our reality, but not necessarily the truth of the situation. Does that make sense? Because if it was reality, everyone would be feeling and thinking the same. So is it the pandemic, or is it our thinking about the pandemic? So we learn new coping strategies. We get some distance between our thinking, and then choose where we focus. You know, we choose, like I said before, that energy goes where, or energy grows where our focus goes. So what are you focusing on? You know, that's why a couple of weeks ago I suggested writing out 20 things that bring you joy. Write 20 things that bring you joy. You know, because if you're feeling a bit down and you're getting caught up with the thinking and the what ifs and what you should be doing, and you know, worst case scenarios and catastrophizing things, to sit, just to give yourself a few minutes, you know, writing down 20 things that bring you joy, you know, guarantee you'll feel a bit better after that. Hi Marie, hi Janet. So lots of things. So I'd love to hear, you know, some from some more of you, some of the things that have helped you get through, and some of the things that you may be, oh, you did this fantastic, Georgina, and it helped. Yes, yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, isn't it? You know, when we get our mind on something else, and then all of a sudden, then we're feeling a bit better. You know, it's not rocket science, this stuff. You know, but this is what self-awareness is about. This is where we, you know, we can do these things to practice, such as mindfulness, such as breathing, such as, you know, watching less news, and being mindful of the conversations that we have, and you know, those kind of things that affect us, you know, being aware of our triggers, you know, all these kind of things. And then it's sort of getting that space between living in that sort of drama and that reactive place, and then having that space to actually go, oh, that's just my thinking. You know, I've gone down that sort of rabbit hole again, and then, you know, and now I'm feeling like this. Okay, so let me know what we're going to do sort of really over the next sort of few weeks. We're going to really just ground in some of these new habits and coping strategies that that are going to help us to move forward post COVID, you know, really, you know, like I said before, it takes 21 days to make or break a habit, you know, and we can really use this time to kind of really ground in some of these new habits that are going to be like really helpful for us going forward. So the evening's not good, so I watch funny TV programs that makes me laugh. Perfect. We talked about that before, didn't we, on here as well, like watching the funny things that make you laugh. Absolutely, that's so important. Laughter is one of the best therapies Absolutely, that is really important. Yeah. So I think what we'll do is, yeah, let me know if there's anything as well over these last weeks that I've discussed. Let me know if there's anything that you want to go over, that you'd found maybe particularly interesting, want to know more about. So please just write in the comments, and you know, I can help you with these practices, and to really kind of you know, get used to really living some of this stuff, making it a reality for you, and to that will absolutely increase your well-being. And so I think we'll end with, we'll just have a few breaths to end, and get present, and just remember to stay present at this time is the best thing you can do anyway, but especially now. So if you feel comfortable to close your eyes, then please do. If not, just relax your gaze, and we're just going to take a few deep breaths together, and we're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And if you want, if you feel your mind is racing, or if you have too many thoughts, you can count, because again, that uses a different part of your brain where you can just count your breaths. So you can kind of breathe in 2, 3, 4 and out. So we'll have a few deep breaths together. I find it helpful just to connect with myself, to put my hand on my heart. So that's a good one. If you want to, you can do that practice. Thank you, Susan. And we'll have a few deep breaths. So when you're ready, and if you can just imagine when you breathe in, just breathing in calm, breathing in life, energy, peace. And then just when you're breathing out, just really imagining just that sort of really like letting go, and just breathing out any stress, any worries, any anxiety. And then just imagine breathing all that out. And another deep breath. Just letting all that go. Okay. How does that feel? It's powerful. The breath is powerful. You know, we can really use that anytime, and it really can just really bring you right into that present moment. So anyway, leave your comments, anything you want me to go over. We'll get into some of these good habits over the next few weeks, and look forward to seeing some of you, hopefully in the not too distant future. And lots of love. Bless you. Stay present, and bye for now.